Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. I want to thank you so much for joining me today and for our Monday Healing Steps Facebook Live and our Bridge to Healing community. And for those who are new or tuning in for the first time, I'm Janine Naus, your grief and trauma relief specialist, and I combine my personal experience and professional knowledge to support you in your healing journey. Now, if you're watching the replay, go ahead and drop a pound replay in the comments. And if you're here with me live, say hello and type pound live. I'd love to know where you're joining me from today. Today we're going to explore something simple but so powerful. And that's how to truly listen in a way that helps others heal. Now, this session is especially close to my heart because many of us, especially trauma survivors, know what it feels like to not be truly heard. We know the ache of being dismissed, judged, or fixed instead of simply being witnessed. So let's talk about how we can offer each other offer something deeper, and that's presence. And I'll be weaving in some wisdom from Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements, which offers insightful guidance on how we can better show up for ourselves and for each other. So let's begin with one of the most common barriers to real connection, something many of us do without even realizing it. See, most of us were never actually taught how to listen in a way that supports healing. And we were taught to reply, to offer solutions, to relate by telling our own stories, or even to defend ourselves when something hits too close to home. Now, we're often listening so we can say something next, not so we can understand what's being shared. But true listening is a different kind of skill. It's not about having the right words. It's not about jumping in with advice. It's about making space, a safe, open, and judgment-free space for someone to be seen and heard. And this brings us to the first of the four agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and it's be impeccable with your word. And at first glance, this might sound like it only applies to how we speak, but it's just as relevant when we're listening. When we truly listen, we use our words or our silence as an act of care and compassion. And being impeccable with your word in a moment of listening might look like choosing not to interrupt, saying, I hear you, instead of, here's what I think, holding back from trying to fix what was never yours to fix in the first place. Because sometimes the most healing and impeccable thing we can say is nothing at all. It's presence over performance, stillness over strategy. Now, I want to ask you something. Have you ever shared something vulnerable, maybe something painful or deeply personal, and left that conversation feeling more alone than before you spoke? Or maybe you've been seen or been on the other side, feeling unsure of what to say, and ended up filling the silence with words that didn't really help. Now, if either of those moments resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you and let me know in the comments if this is something you've experienced. You're not alone in this, and we're here to grow in this together. Now, what we've looked at, where most of us start from when it comes to listening, let's go ahead and move into how we can begin shifting into something more healing, more intentional. So let's explore how the four agreements can guide us into listening that truly honors the people in our lives. So now that we explored why most of us listen to respond instead of truly understanding, let's go ahead and shift into what it actually looks like to listen with presence, love, and integrity. And this is where the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz offers us a powerful roadmap. And these teachings were originally offered as a guide for personal freedom, but when applied to how we support others, especially those we care about who are hurting, they become a beautiful framework for creating emotional safety in our relationships. So let's walk through them together, one by one, through the lens of heart-centered listening. So, one, be impeccable with your word. Now, this means more than just speaking truth, it means speaking with intention, clarity, and love. And when someone opens up to you, they're placing their heart in your hands. Choose your words as if they matter, because they do. And speak honestly, but never harshly. Offer kindness, not correction, because in moments of vulnerability, your words can become medicine or they can become wounds. You don't need to have the perfect thing to say. Sometimes just saying, I'm here with you, is more powerful than any advice you could offer. And now, two, don't take anything personally. Now, this one is especially important when someone is expressing pain. They may be emotional, they may say things through the lens of hurt, but it's not about you. When you take things personally, it's easy to get defensive or shut down. But when you stay grounded, you make space for true connection. Now remember, they're not asking you to solve their problem, they're asking you to witness it. So when we don't absorb their words as a reflection of our worth, we can stay present without needing to protect ourselves. Now, the third agreement is don't make assumptions. Now, how often have we heard someone say something and we immediately jump to a conclusion? We assume we know what they need or what they're trying to say, or even that we know how to fix it. But real listening invites curiosity. It allows room for them to define what they need. So try asking, would it feel supportive for me to just listen right now? Or would you like me to offer some thoughts? Now, that question alone can change everything. It gives the other person choice, and in doing so, it builds trust. Now, the fourth agreement is always do your best. This is the grace we give ourselves and to others. Not every conversation will be perfect. You may fumble your words, you may not know what to say, but when you show up with a genuine desire to connect, to understand, and to be a safe space, that is enough. So, doing your best isn't about being flawless, it's about being present, human, and open hearted. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever used one of these agreements to help you through a tough conversation? Or maybe there's one that stands out as a lesson you're working on right now. Then drop the number one through four in the comments, and I'd love to see which one speaks to you most today. Okay. Now, we explored why true listening is so powerful and how the four agreements guides us in showing up with presence and love. So let's talk about how to do this in a practical, grounded way. Because here's the thing, many of us want to support someone we care about, but we're not always sure how. So we don't want to say the wrong thing or do too much or do too little. And when someone is hurting, we can easily slip into trying to fix, compare, or give advice, even with the best of intentions. So that's why I want to share a tool I've used often with clients, friends, and even in my own personal healing. Now, it's called the compassionate witnessing practice, and it's one of the most powerful ways to truly support someone without overstepping their needs or boundaries. So let's walk through it step by step. In step one, it's called pause and presence. So before you respond, pause. Just take one deep breath with them and then allow yourself to get grounded and release the urge to fix. Your only job in that moment is to be with them. You don't need the perfect words. You don't have to solve anything. Your presence is what creates safety, not your performance. And then step two, you want to reflect. So don't redirect. Instead of trying to explain, analyze, or steer the conversation elsewhere, just reflect what you're hearing with sincerity. So you can say things like, I hear how hard this is for you. Or it could be, thank you for trusting me with this. Or even it could be, I'm here with you in this. And these phrases let the other person know you're listening, you're not judging, you're not trying to take over the moment. You're just simply being a witness, someone who sees and honors their experience. And this builds trust. It makes healing feel possible. And it gently says, you matter. Your story matters. I'm not going anywhere. And then step 3, it's called ask with care. Now, before offering any thoughts, advice, or suggestions, ask them what they need. So you might want to try this and say, would it feel helpful if I shared something I'm thinking? Or would it feel better if I just listened for now? See, this question does two powerful things. It hands back the power to the person sharing, and it helps you stay heart-centered and respectful of their process. Now, you're not assuming, you're not intruding, you're co-creating a safe space. The compassionate witnessing practice isn't about doing more, it's about being more present with less. It honors what someone is going through without needing to change it. So the next time someone opens up to you, whether it's a loved one, a friend, or even a colleague, try this 3-step process. Pause and get present, reflect instead of redirecting, and ask with care before responding. And if someone has done this for you, think about how that felt. Did it make you feel safe, seen, perhaps understood? And you can be that safe place for someone else too. And if you've used any part of this practice before, or if you're planning to, I'd like for you to let me know in the comments. And I'd love to hear how it resonated with you. Now, before we move on into our final thoughts, I wanted to share something personal, something that shaped how I understand the power of truly being heard. Now, there was a season in my life when it felt like everything was unraveling. I was navigating deep health challenges, the painful loss of my job, and the waves of grief that seemed to hit me when I least expected them. Everywhere I turned, it felt like something else was slipping away. My sense of security, my purpose, and even my identity. And during that time, what I needed most wasn't advice, it wasn't solutions, it wasn't someone trying to fix me or offer a list of things I should be doing. What helped me the most was someone who could simply be with me in my pain, someone who sat quietly without rushing to speak, someone who listened fully and gently without judgment, without interruption. They didn't try to shift the conversation. They didn't minimize what I was feeling. They didn't flinch when I cried or tried to hide how broken I felt. Instead, they let me know, without needing to say much at all, that I wasn't alone. See, that kind of presence, it's a it's a kind of presence, that kind of listening. It didn't fix what I was going through, but it gave me something so much deeper. It gave me a sense of safety in the midst of chaos, and it reminded me that I still mattered. And it slowly helped me begin to trust again, first in others and then in myself. And that experience is what shaped how I show up now for my clients, for loved ones, and for even myself. Because when you've been met with that kind of sacred listening, you understand just how healing it can be. So if you've ever wondered what you can do for someone who is struggling, sometimes the answer is simply this: be a witness, be a safe space, safe place. Be the one who listens without needing to fix. And if you've ever been on the receiving end of that kind of listening, take a moment to reflect on how that impacted you. Now, feel free to share in the comments. I'd love to hear what that moment meant for you. And before we wrap up today's session, I wanted to invite you to slow down and take a moment just for you. See, we've explored what it means to truly listen, to hold space, to be present for others in a way that supports healing instead of trying to fix or change them. But now I want you to gently turn that inward because your voice, your needs matter too. So here's your journaling prompt for today. When I feel truly heard and understand, what does that look like and feel like? So again, that prompt is when I feel truly heard and understood, what does that look like and feel like? And then take a few moments to reflect. What does it feel like in your body when someone really gets you? Can you remember a time when someone listened in a way that made you feel safe and seen? Or if you've never quite had that, what kind of support do you wish someone had offered you? Let yourself be honest here. There's no right or wrong, only truth. And this kind of reflection helps you reconnect to what being supported truly feels like. And when you understand what that feels like for you, you'll naturally begin to offer that same kind of presence to others. Now, you deserve to be held in that way. You deserve to be listened to without judgment or interruption. And yes, you absolutely have the power to be that safe space for someone else too. So take a few minutes today to sit with this prompt. Let your words flow freely. And if you feel called to share anything from your reflection, you're welcome to do so in the comments or in the Bridge to Healing community. Now let's take a breath together as we head into our closing and our closing thoughts here. As we come to the end of today's healing step session, I want to bring everything we've explored together into one simple truth. Listening is a gift, not the kind that needs to be wrapped up in perfect words or polished responses, but the kind that is felt in silence, in presence, in knowing that someone truly sees you and stays. So much of healing doesn't come from fixing what's broken. It comes from being witnessed in our pain and still being loved right there in it. And you, yes, you have the power to offer that to others. And you don't have to know what to say. You don't have to get it all right. Your presence, your compassion, your willingness to be there without needing to change or control, that's where healing begins. So today, I want to invite you to practice being a safe space for yourself and for someone else. Let go of the pressure to fix. Release the idea that you need to have all the answers, and instead just be there. Listen with your heart, respond with gentleness, and let that be enough, because it is enough. If today's message spoke to you, if you're finding yourself in a place where you're longing to be heard, to heal, or to deepen how you support others, I want to personally invite you into a no-fee conversation with me. And it's my complimentary 30-minute call that I call Healing Connection, a no-fee clarity call. And this isn't a sales pitch. It's an open-hearted space where you can explore what's coming up for you and what kind of support you might need right now. And we'll talk, I'll listen, and we'll see what healing could look like together. So send me a message or book a call, whichever feels right for you. I'm here, and I'd be honored to walk beside you. So thank you truly for being with me today. Your presence in this space matters. Your willingness to grow and reflect, whether quietly or out loud, is something I deeply respect. I'll see you next time for our next healing step session. Until then, please be gentle with yourself and remember your presence is powerful, more powerful than you know. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.